Okay.
Looks so thin there, Nick.
He does. He does look thin.
Here's the numbers this season between Baker and Jayden. Their second meeting, Tampa Bay won week 1. So would you rather have Jayden or Baker?
For this game?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
Baker, and it's not a question. First of all of the rookie quarterback playoffs on the road stuff applies here as it did before.
I know you just said it, so say it. I want you to say it again. But don't you think that response?
No, I don't.
Wasn't it like 5? What was the stat?
7 straight losses for rookie quarterbacks on the road in the playoffs, and 5-14 rookie quarterbacks on the road in the playoffs. That's the vibe of one of the 5 35 years. I disagree. I just and the other piece of it is this: Baker is an awesome big game quarterback. Last week, second half, had to have it awesome. Dating back to the Rose Bowl against Georgia, he was awesome. And here's Baker's playoff numbers.
Yeah, I mean that.
What? I mean, you. What?
It was the Saints. That should not have been like second half.
Okay, okay. How about this? At Pittsburgh, at Kansas City, home for who was the one home game he had? Philadelphia, and then at Detroit. Are those teams good enough? Because
I just wasn't impressed with Baker's performance last week against the Saints.
Okay, I thought the second half with the playoffs on the line, Baker was outstanding.
But it's the whole game.
But
Playoffs
they
are on
shouldn't
the line
even
the
been
whole
in that
game,
position.
okay, all right. So you guys, when a team is down double digits in a must-win game and they're not playing that well, and the quarterback has the half that he had, where play after play after play he is making with his arms and his legs, to me, that was impressive. But I also, what, bro?
You don't give Brock Purdy that credit. I'm just saying. When I talked about his comebacks in the playoffs, it's always he was bad in the first half, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, well,
I don't think
that's what you're praising Baker for one thing that you rip other quarterbacks with. I don't even have to bring it Brock Purdy. I'm just saying.
Okay, I don't think I commonly rip quarterbacks for playing great when they have to have it. I don't think I ripped Brock Purdy for that. And I
certainly
maybe I
didn't give him credit.
I didn't give him the love you gave him. That's fine. And if we, again, almost every conversation we have on the show, we can turn into was I wrong about Brock Purdy? But I feel pretty good about the Brock Purdy
overstatements.
But Baker also is I don't know if you guys will have a problem with this graphic as well.
Go ahead.
Baker's just had 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns. That's all of NFL history who's done it. Baker's on that list now. And so it's just a bunch of the best seasons from the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, plus Baker. So I trust Baker in a big spot. We saw him play awesome in the playoffs last year. We saw him play awesome in the playoffs the last time he was in the playoffs. And the other kid's a rookie. So this is a 10-8 round to me. I'd rather have Baker this
Go ahead, Coach.
So we're going to talk about winning at the end of the game. We saw Jayden Daniels do it against the Giants early in his career, came back there. And then
he's been great.
We saw it against the Chicago Bears. We had the Hail Mary, so that was a little magical. We saw it against the Eagles, right? There's 10 seconds left. He brings them down. I think they were down by 2 scores in that game, and he won that game. He broke the record for quarterbacks rushing, right? I think it's 891 yards. He's the 4th highest quarterback rating of any rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL. So you see all those things. He's riding a 5-game winning streak. There's that component to it. So I would say that, yeah, the rookies don't have a great record on the road, but I do think this has been the type of season where that magic could continue into the playoffs. And when you look at Baker, he has played great, and he is a tough out, and he's competitive, and there's so many things that you like about him. The thing that concerns me a little bit is the volume of interceptions. So he leads the league in interceptions. And then when you look at his turnover-worthy plays, the balls that weren't caught, the turnovers that could have been, but weren't, he led the NFL in that too. And I think that's a concern for me. So I like Jayden in this moment.
You'd rather have Jayden Daniels
I would rather have Jayden Daniels in this game with this team this season, because of all the things that have gone up to this point. And I don't think this is going to end here this weekend. And I do feel that what Baker did last week was great in the second half. I didn't really expect it to be that way.
Neither did I.
In that game, it felt like they had all kind of relaxed a little bit, and then suddenly had to ramp it up. Never thought that was going to be a game last week. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to carry over, but didn't love that way of getting in the playoffs.
I would feel good with any quarterback. You're right, Baker is a great playoff quarterback, but Jayden had me at routine. I'm with you, Wiles. I love the answer, and I didn't expect anything different from him. But this goes along with what's made him great. He's poised.
Yeah.
He has been poised throughout the games. He's been poised throughout the season. He's been poised in the clutch, which is why he does have all those four game-winning drives against, big-name quarterbacks, some of the teams he's played. And I get your rookie thing on the road. But rookies have performed well. Now, they've been at home, but still, there are rookies in a playoff game. Last year, C.J. Stroud was phenomenal. I thought Cleveland would win that game because it's a rookie. Cleveland had a very good defense. And C.J. Stroud had almost a perfect passer rating. And it's going to sound – Brock Purdy's rookie year. Threw for over 300 yards,
against
3 touchdowns.
Seattle.
Yeah,
I think there's
I think rookies can have good playoff games.
So and this kind of goes back to the conversation we were just having about the potential Ravens-Bills matchup, and I'm just going to ask, maybe bounce it off you. I value home field in the playoffs so differently than I do in the regular season, and I think that particularly for a rookie, the different things as far as being able to communicate, having to go to a silent count, the pressure of the moment, you then add to it that some coaches, not all, get a little tighter themselves in the playoffs. I just think it's not my thing of rookies on the road in the playoffs. It's just the history of it. I just find it, I don't think it's random. I think that you are asking an immense amount, because the other part of it is usually if you're on the road, it's because the team you're playing was better than you. Now, in this spot, it's not quite that because they had similar records or the same record. Washington had the better record. I
think, Nick, the downside of having his rookies, they don't understand what it's like. And the intensity amps up for the playoffs. So preseason, regular season amps, regular season, the playoffs amps up. So they don't know that. But the other upside is they don't know that. Right. They don't know any better. Right. So they go in with this youthful ignorance that can be a really positive thing because they don't know what they don't know. And the other interesting thing about this game is Washington's terrible against the run. I think Tampa's going to win this by running the ball, where the flip side is Tampa hasn't been very good against the pass, so Jayden's going to have to play well in the passing game for them to win it.
Starting to believe this could happen. I don't know if sons, plural.
Well, listen, I credit to Deion for being a great dad. Quick scouting report on Shiloh. He turns 25 in a month, and he's not that good. So I feel harsh, anybody that had an issue with the Lakers using the 55th pick on Bronny, what I assume would cause a riot over any team drafting Shiloh Sanders. Now, maybe you can bring him in as an undrafted free agent or, whatever it is. Something.
That's an easy one.
No.
That's the easiest.
Okay.
The easiest part is the practice squad piece of it?
Well, the easiest part is if someone's going to go undrafted and they don't want them, and those guys are easy to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, listen, it feels to me like Bruce, what I had thought was a pipe dream, is now on the wheel of possibilities, which I'll let you take over from there.
You say that a lot.
No,
things I said that you thought were pipe dreams. No. It's all set up, right? It's the Raiders.
There you go.
Now they may have to move up from the 6th pick, but Tom Brady obviously has a relationship with Shedeur too. He's worked out with him since starting 2020, has mentored him a little bit. Coaching, they need a coach. Don't have a GM that might want his own, you know what I mean?
They just fired their GM an hour ago.
Yeah, so it is right there. If Tom Brady is on board with it, it can happen.
But being able to put all the pieces in place is a little bit more challenging because you've got to hire the coach long before you have the draft. And then once you establish that that's the player that he wants, your negotiating power isn't very good if you're the team that owns that pick. Now, I don't know where Shedeur is going to fall in terms of the final ranking of quarterbacks. That stuff will reveal itself here in the months to come. But it does put it in a little bit of a bind. It's fine to go get the coach, but guaranteeing that you get the player can be a little bit more challenging.
So how would that?
And how much are you willing to give up to get the player?
I think it's complicated, Wild.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
No,
Wilds'
that's the
take
question.
on giving up nothing is the best.
If I'm the Raiders, and suppose during the show we've signed Coach Prime to be the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, are the Giants really going to draft Shedeur? And it's like, and we're going to draft Shedeur with the 6th pick, and you just announced that. How messy can this? I know it's been Eli and Elway have been kind of forced. How messy can this get? At the same time, Bronny, who wasn't the prospect that Shedeur is, obviously, there was almost like, this is in the works, and we don't want to start a big war by drafting Bronny when we know the Lakers want him.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because any of the teams ahead of him could take the stance of, we have the right to draft whoever we want to draft.
I'm not showing up.
You may not show up, but you may say we want some compensation. If we can't get the player we want, then we want to be compensated in some way for not being able to get the player we want. And at that point, it's a negotiation because you may not necessarily want to have a player that doesn't want to be there, but you also don't want to be skipped over just because someone says,
I guess Wilds' point
is
how similar would it be to Aaron Rodgers picking the Jets? You remember that? We forget kind of how it went. He wasn't a free agent. Aaron Rodgers came out of the darkness, hold his press conference, was like, Brian Gutekunst is a liar. I have bad cell service. I'm going to be a Jet. That's what it was. And it's like, you guys figure it out. Yeah. And then there was weeks of what are they going to give up? And it was like, are they going to have to give up a first-round pick? Are they not? There was the public negotiation.
But it's like Eli Manning. But there was negotiations there. And Bernie Kosar, I think, went in the supplemental draft because he wanted to go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And go to the supplemental draft.
Yeah, and then Cleveland had to trade up with, I think Buffalo had the number 1 pick in the supplemental draft to get burnt. There are ways that you can make it work. And look, you don't want a player that doesn't want to be there, but you also don't want to just concede your right to pick someone because someone else says you should.
So, I do think that it would, I guess I would put it like this. If the Raiders were to hire Deion, Shedeur would end up being the quarterback for the Raiders.
Yes.
We just don't now would the Raiders have to pay more than just the 6th pick of the draft for it? Probably. But I don't think there's any scenario where the Raiders hire Deion and it's like we were unable to acquire Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, you understand that's how it's got to be. It's just what's the price?
I think it's fascinating. If it's going to happen to a team, it's going to be the Raiders.
I think hopefully it happens.
Before we go, you can help families impacted by the California wildfires. Visit go.fox/Red Cross or scan the QR code on your screen to support these efforts. Your donation enables the Red Cross to respond to and help people recover from this disaster. Fox has already donated over $1 million, and if you can donate, please do.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.